In this episode, I sit down with Luke Lispet. Luke Lispet is a 14-year veteran of the Royal Australian Air Force, where during his time, he spent 4 deployments to the Middle East, one of them to Iraq and one of them to Afghanistan, where he was a combat specialist as well as a weapons instructor. Luke Lispet is also the founder of Key Tech Intelligence, an AI company that assists companies in running their CRMs more effectively, as well as optimizing day-to-day functions. Luke Lispet is an advocate in the veteran space in Australia, where he is very active in helping veterans with their disabilities, with suicide prevention, and other great charitable causes. Luke Lispet did not hold back. He was by far one of the funniest personalities that I've had. He definitely understood the assignment and went full-fledged in sharing some of the funniest stories that he was a part of. There was one time where he pranked and scared one of his platoon sergeants at night, but because it was late into the night, his platoon sergeant could not find out who it was. He pranked one of his other fellow soldiers by planting alarm clocks all around him. And since his other soldier couldn't find him, the room was destroyed. He also talked about trapping a camel spider named Clarence, who they would over time feed insects to and have mini battles and place bets on this random spider. Luke Lispet also shared another funny story about how when sitting next to Tony Abbott, who at the time was the Prime Minister of Australia, he fell asleep next to Tony Abbott, despite the fact how the Prime Minister was trying to talk to him, and Tony Abbott did not understand that he was sleeping next to him. This episode was very engaging. It was very funny. You can find Luke Lispet on Instagram and on LinkedIn if you look up Key Tech Intelligence or just Luke Lispet. If you like the show, I encourage you to please like it, please follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and share it with somebody that you know so we can get the word out and grow the show. And with that, enjoy.
I got it for 3 reasons: right time, right place, and right guy.
Is that fake chest hair?
Yes, it is fake chest hair. I did it so you could see the Star of David a little better.
That's really funny.
This is where the troops go in the back right there.
Cody, I've lost your audio, man. I completely couldn't hear anything you just said then. It's gone mute or something? Looks like you're on mute. Yeah.
You know what it probably is? Because it's a touch screen.
Oh, right. Might have bumped it, yeah.
So it's not every day that you get an enigmatic guest on your show, not just someone who's mysterious. And to illustrate this, I want you to think about the last time that you placed a sports bet on your local camel spider to win a fight. And then think about when you were in college and you fell asleep next to your local prime minister. Local prime minister? What the fuck does that mean? But I know you're thinking, Cody, that doesn't make any sense. No, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is I know you've never done that, whoever you are, but my guest has done that. I love to illustrate how my guests are very unique in their own right, because they all have, there's no such thing as a boring person. I don't know who said that, but it's very true to many of the guests that I've had on. And coming all the way from the land down under, I'm pleased to announce my next guest. Please welcome Luke Lispet. Luke, how are you doing today?
Well, firstly, g'day, mate. Thanks for having us on the show, Cody. And I'm doing well. It's the morning here. It's beautiful weather as we have in Australia here in Queensland. So, mate, things are good. Yeah, excited to be here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is your guys' winter, right? So it's, I would say, like autumn, coldish, or I'm not familiar with the geography of Australia.
Yeah, so technically it's winter, right? But I mean, it's Australia. We're in Queensland. We don't really have a winter. It's like a warm 24 degrees outside. Like, it's just perfect weather. So yeah, it never really gets cold here. Not like you guys have over there.
That's how you know he's from Australia, because he said a warm 24.
Remember, we're in Celsius, so I think that's like, I don't know, 48 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not sure, but yeah, we run in Celsius, 24 degrees Celsius.
I think it's a little higher than 40. I'm not that being a dumb American, I'm not that familiar with the metric system or whatever the whatever the temperature gauge is, but Luke, regardless, welcome. I'm glad to get the Australians back on the show again. Shout out to Tim Thomas for helping orchestrate this. I greatly appreciate that. For those who don't know you, Luke, because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you've been on other shows. There hasn't been, like, other than like the conversations we've had, I haven't really dived in too much into like who you are. Like, I got a good picture of it, but to my audience who doesn't know who you are, who exactly is Luke Lispet? Like, if you could break it down for him.
Yeah. Well, who is Luke Lispet? Firstly, I guess that's me. So I'm 41 years old. I love outdoors. I love my fishing. I fish from a kayak. I love hiking, getting into fitness. Anything to do with the great outdoors is my jam. I've got a 5-year-old son and a partner. My little boy is my world. You know, I take him out on adventures. I take him hiking. I take him fishing. Everything that I do, I make sure he comes with me. A bit about my career, I guess you could say. So I was in the Royal Australian Air Force, was my main job, and that was in the role of an airfield defense guard, which is kind of like a combat specialist, right, for the Air Force. So I did that for 14 years. I joined up at the ripe old age of 21. I used to work on checkouts, right? So I worked at Coles, a supermarket, when I was 20, scanning groceries. And then as soon as I turned 21, I joined the Air Force. I went to Iraq. I was 23, so I went from scanning groceries at a checkout to scanning arcs on Route Irish, you know, looking for bridges and bad guys. So that was a big jump. So 14 years I did in the Air Force as a combat specialist or a weapons instructor. I served in Iraq. I served in Afghanistan. I went to Dubai, Kuwait, probably about 4 deployments to the Middle East in total. So I did that for 14 years, and I left the service in 2019. And since then, you know, I got out, I engaged in some community activities. I ran some men's groups. I worked in the veteran space, so assisting veterans with advocacy and support. And yeah, here I am today.
It's I like the resume. It's very, very, I will say, like, rather why am I blanking on the words here? It's very very well laid out. I will say that way, very well orchestrated. But I'm a little curious because I think I saw this from no, it was from yours actually, because you say that you're involved in like veterans advocacy, and I don't know if you know how it is in the States, but like veterans are almost like practically worshipped here, and you know, I would say for good reason. I mean, you know, we've had a long, lengthy military history in the States, but like, is it anything on par with like us, or like what exactly does like veterans advocacy look like in Australia?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky space. I mean, you know, for the Australian people, we love our veterans, right? We love veterans. They've served our country. They get all the props and respect from the people here. Unfortunately, our veteran care system in Australia is a little bit insufficient, I'd say. So, you know, it requires a lot of us to kind of step up and bring that extra support, bring that extra advocacy to our veterans, because yeah, let's just face it, our government isn't doing a good enough job, right, of looking after our veterans. So some of us have got to step up and actually do the work for them. So yeah, when I seen that space, you know, going through service life myself, I said, you know what, I'm going to dedicate some of my time to get in here and help solve these problems and help support our veterans. So yeah, that's what I do today.
Okay. And I assume it's like the standard, like, you know, disability, mental health and suicide prevention, like education benefits, like that type of thing, usually.
Yeah, man, absolutely. A lot of mental health stuff, you know, physical injuries, getting people back into roles or support networks that can support them. So yeah, very much in that space.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the name of your MOS, or like what you did, you were so you were in Royal Australian Air Force, and then it was I only remember airfield. Why is my short-term memory so blanking on me? It was it's something guard. You please brush me up.
Yeah, airfield defense guard was the correct term, or ADG we'd say, because you know it's easy to say. So airfield defense guard, basically like a weapons instructor. We taught people combat. So we did all the or the grunt work, I guess you could say, for the Air Force. And at times it was pretty full on, right? It's kind of like a soldiering role, but we carried packs and big guns and lots of ammo, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, my idea was like I was taking it literal, where you're almost like not like airport security or TSA, where you're like making sure people's like taking off their shoes when they go through like the checkout, but or the security line. But I was thinking more of like, oh, like you defend the airfields. I get like, is that part of the role?
Pretty much, yeah. Like at its core, we would defend the airfields. But for some reason, they love to stick us out in the bush, humping around mountains and bushland with packs on and big guns. So yeah, it was interesting.
So when you were in like Iraq and Afghanistan, did you so like since you were almost treated, it's because it sounds like you were treated a lot like infantrymen. So were you a lot of times deployed as such with like other units, and did you go on patrols and stuff like that?
Yeah. So my first deployment to Iraq, we were attached with the cavalry guys and the infantry. So that means we'd go out on the ASLAVs, which are like our armored personnel carriers, personnel carriers. And it was kind of fun. So we'd go out down like Route Irish, right, one of the most dangerous routes in Iraq, driving in these armored buggies, looking for bad guys, doing protection runs to the BIAP, which is the airport there. So we got to really get outside the wire, I guess you could say, and experience what the actual deployment was outside of the base, which was kind of cool.
Can you brush me up on what Route Irish was? Because I've heard you mention that a couple times. It sounds like it's well known or something like that.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Route Irish was kind of like the MSR, or the main service route from where we were posted in Iraq to the airport. And it's kind of like the main highway, I guess you would say, or the main freeway. So it was heavily targeted, right? So the bad guys knew, hey, there's coalition forces driving this bad boy every day, taking people to the airport and picking them up. So it was probably one of the most dangerous routes in Iraq at that time, with IEDs, car bombs, insurgents, whatever. So it was a pretty hairy road to be on. Yeah.
When during like the time frame, like were you in Iraq? I assume this was probably like years after the fact, like Saddam's been toppled, you're just doing counterinsurgency, that type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So I went in 2008 is when I went in. So I think it had all been kind of toppled, and we were just there to, I don't know, do whatever we were doing. I still don't really know why we were there, but hey, yeah.
I don't even think we know why we were there. We just did what we were told.
Yeah, something about oil or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, look, don't touch our boats, our towers. Don't build nuclear weapons. This long list of stuff, and we won't come in and plant the flag and the eagle, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, make sure you don't build those weapons of mass destruction that you never really had in the first place. So yeah,
listen up, Iran. Get on the program, or else Israel, us, are going to get on you, okay? But hey, we try not to stay involved in politics.
No, of course not.
It's so hard, though, because it's like, you know how it is. The military and the politics mask are obviously so tightly knit. It's kind of hard. It's not hard, but it's, sometimes they intermingle, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, you can obviously tell me no, but like as an Australian, even like during that time, like how did you even think about the geopolitics of what was going on then? Or was it just more of, because like a lot of Americans, we don't really think about it too much. It's just more of like a chance for us to see combat and to just have adventure when we go in. Was it the same thing for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was 23 years old. So, someone said, hey, you're going to Iraq. It's like, fuck yeah. We get to go in and see combat and do all this exciting stuff. And when you get there, it's a little disappointing. You're like, well, is this it? What's going on? And yeah, it doesn't match the narrative, right? So you go there and you're expecting all these bad guys, because that's what you're told, right? Hey, we're going to get the bad guys. And then suddenly you're shaking hands with Iraqis and, being real friendly with everyone. It's like, what are you actually doing here? Like, so experiencing the geopolitics, I guess, on the forefront, like on the coalface. And it just didn't make sense, right? I was like, okay, well, it's not all chalked up as it is, right? As you think it is. So Yeah, it's an interesting place.
I'm a little curious though, because I've heard some Americans tout, like, if they disagree with it, they're always like, well, why don't we go to like Mexico, because like they have cartels running, or like that makes more sense to us. Why don't we go to Cuba, or like, you know, somewhere that Americans can see some value in? But like, as an Australian, I mean, do you guys have like I imagine you guys don't have like an external threat per se, but is there like a place that you guys look to? It's like, well, why don't we like this sounds a little more fun. I mean, like, why don't we do this?
Yeah, well, we thought this was fun because obviously in Australia we're kind of, so isolated from the rest of the world, and it's like, wow, let's go to the desert and see some bad guys. But then when they're all friendly and, well, except the ones that exploded, they weren't really friendly.
Yeah.
But when everyone's shaking hands, it's like, oh, okay, well, gee,
first impressions matter a lot, and if your first impression is blowing your limbs 30 feet in the air, it's
yeah, you just had to be careful which hand you shook, right? Make sure the one didn't have the buzzer in it. If you shook the other hand, you're okay. So
that's a conundrum, because I don't know if you've heard, like, were you ever told or briefed how like people in the middle, especially like Iraq, Afghanistan, like they wipe their ass with their left hand?
Yes. And when you meet someone, and it's hard to tell straight away whether it's a left or right because it's kind of mirrored.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, a few times you probably got the wrong hand. You're like, okay, that's we're not going to do that again.
Sounds a lot like goat. I don't know what that is, but
yeah. You basically just wash your hands after every hand you shake, right?
Yeah. Well, that had me thinking, because it's like, because you said you have to be careful of what hand has the buzzer or not to make them explode. But if I'm an counterinsurgent or a terrorist, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, one hand, like if I put the buzzer in my right hand, that's a great, like, it's a lose-lose situation for the enemy. Either they get killed or they get, gangrene or whatever disease. I don't know what disease comes from, shit, but it's. Well, looking into that, so when you were in Iraq, what were like, did you have, because we talked about it a little bit, there was like a handful of stories you wanted to pick. Were any of the stories that you had from that, like, first specific tour when you were in Iraq?
Yeah. So the first story I'd like to talk about, and this was a little bit of a practical joke, right, from myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I call this story the Rock of Destiny, right?
Oh.
Rock of Destiny. So I remember, I think it was Kuwait. Like, we're going into this staging area, right, just before we went into Iraq, and they put all the troops in like these demountable buildings, right? And every building or block had like, I don't know, 8 or so troops in there, and it was so quiet, right? So there was this kind of like big ring of these buildings, and in the center was just all this like granite rock, like just, massive layers of these pieces of rock.
Yeah.
And in the center, the dead center, was this, guys, what a portaloo is, like a portable toilet, right? You got the plastic, it's like a toilet that's portable, right? It's a little one-man can, dunny can. And
I don't know why they have you guys ever do you know what a portable toilet is? It's like a toilet that's portable.
Look, I don't know how else you can explain it, right? The tin can.
No, is it like a porta-john? Is that what it is? Like the
porta-john? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know our slang. There's some words you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? Anyways, the portable toilet, the porta-john, that's what it is. So, we had like 100 of these troops, right, in these buildings, and the only fucking toilet was this one porta-john, right in the middle. Right in the middle. And it was probably, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night. Everyone's starting to go to bed. And I've come out of the shower block and it's dark. And I see this troop, right? This Australian soldier. And he's walking into the porta-john or the portaloo, right? And he goes in and I don't know what made me think of it. I'm like, pick up a rock, So I picked up one of these big granite rocks, and it's a big rock, right?
Yeah.
Now this portaloo or porta-john, man, it's like 100 meters away, right? You could not hit this thing. I said, fuck it. Let's, 10 o'clock at night, everyone's asleep. Why not have a throw? So I hurled the Rock of Destiny, right? I
Mhm.
Look, no way it's going to hit the place. It's too far away.
Yeah.
I'm watching this thing, right? It's going through the air. It's on target. I'm like, fuck, this thing's going to fucking hit it. It flies, man. Old mate's just in the portaloo, right? So he's just got in. He's probably doing his business, nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Fucking rock hits the fucking portaloo. Bang, like the loudest explosion you could ever hear. It fucking would have woken up everyone. The guy in there, right? If he hadn't finished doing a shit, well, he would have shat bricks. Like it would have scared the shit out of him. So this explosion goes off, and I'm standing there going, "Fuck!" Like
Now, when you say explosion, it's not like a literal explosion. It's just like a sound. Just proverbial.
Yeah, hitting the plastic roof just made this incredible bang that just echoed. Right, it just broke the night. And I'm standing there in shock, going, "Shit!" You know, I actually hit this thing, and then realizing the sound of this, like I'm expecting like sirens and searchlights, you know. Suddenly I feel like Snake off Metal Gear Solid, like alert. So I ran. I just sprinted. Now my block was probably like 200 meters away, right? So I'm sprinting for life, going, fuck, I hope this dude doesn't catch me. So I sprint into my block. I get in. Everyone's kind of like going to bed, right? It's dark. I ran and jump in my bed, and I hid under the covers, right? Like a scared little boy. Like, fuck, I just did something naughty, right? And I'm like, okay, good. It's quiet. You know, I've got away with it. And then suddenly, bang, the door flies open, like someone kicks the door open, right? Boom. And I hear this voice. Who the fuck was that? Someone walks in. It turns out it was the platoon sergeant, right? Of all the fucking dudes who went into this portal, it was the fucking platoon sergeant. So he obviously seen me like run into the block, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, that was me. Get outside. So I got dragged outside. I was like, fuck. And I sort of like, he's trying to yell at me, right? He's going, did you throw that rock?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. And I'm fucking trying not to laugh, right?
Yeah.
It's just hit me that holy shit. I just rocked the platoon sergeant in the porta john, right? And I think he started to see the funny side of it. So he's trying to yell at me. And then he's sort of smirking because he's like, did you throw? I said, yeah. He's like, from 100 meters away. I was like, yes. He's trying to like be serious, but also laughing that how the hell did you throw that rock for like so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an experience. So at the end of the day, like he kind of wanted to yell at me, but I think he's seen the funny side in it. And we sort of had a little chuckle as I was told to go to bed and go to sleep.
Yeah. I've never been like that high in the rank, but like, I get the idea. It's like, you know, you want to yell, like you want to like not harass, but, you know, you want to discipline more or less, you know, your junior guy, but you can't because, you know, it's like, this is too golden. Like I can't with a straight face, like tell him he's wrong.
Yeah. And like, it would have scared the absolute shit out of him, man. Like it was so loud, the noise it made when it hit that thing. Yeah. Good time.
Did it, because my thought was, you said, because immediately it sounded like you just, you know, were like, all right, I did it. But in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. Like you didn't think to like, because I would have loved to have seen how the story would have gone if he couldn't figure out who it was, even though he saw somebody run back into the barracks or run back into like the, you know, the little huts that you guys were in. And it's just like a never ending, you know, he's like pulling people out of the huts. He's making you guys do stupid stuff to figure out like who did it.
Well, that's what I thought, right? I'm like, yeah, I got away with this, you know. But when that door was kicked open, I was like, fuck, I'm busted.
So you were enlisted, right? When you were in, right?
Yeah, I was enlisted. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, but being in for 14 years, I mean, it sounds like, you know, you made it up. I mean, you probably weren't like high echelon, but did you eventually get to like the staff NCO, I suppose, or whatever equivalent you guys have?
Yeah. So I made it to corporal, which is, I think it's like staff sergeant for you guys, or staff NCO or something. So yeah, 14 years I got to, which is basically meant I get to lead, you know, a section or a rifle flight of troops. Yeah.
Okay. Did you because one thing I've seen with a lot of at least like in the American Marines per se, they say that you know, obviously when you're lower enlisted and kind of like in the middle when you're E4, E5, you know, you're in the trenches, and as you grow slowly, you kind of get the best of both worlds of being able to get out of doing stupid stuff, but you're also doing all the cool things that, you know, you signed up to do. But once you hit staff NCO, that's when you're more reserved, you're doing all the back office work, you're, you know, not exactly doing all the hands-on stuff, all the fun, cool stuff that you signed up for initially. Was that the experience when you got to that?
Pretty much, yeah. Like you start off, like you said, doing all the fun stuff in the trenches, you know, in the dirt. And then as you progress, kind of becomes a little bit more paperwork, you know, back behind the desk. And you're still out there experiencing it. Like you're with the guys as they're doing all the fun stuff, but you kind of got to take a bit more of a backseat. So I don't know, kind of got boring, right? As the ranks went up, it's like, hey, I don't want to do paperwork. I don't want to sit behind a computer. I want to get out there and spend time with these guys.
No, of course. You know, you don't want to be like, I mean, you got to be the disciplinarian. Obviously, you got to be like the leader, but you know, you still want to have the fun. You want to be the pig in the mud, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did you ever have? Because I mean, I assume, you know, most people are alike. You know, we have a lot more in common than we imagine. But I think about all the stuff that like I've seen like my junior guys do, or like my peers that have stayed in the military, that they tell me what their new guys are doing, like all the stupid stuff that they just have to. Like I had an officer that I served with. He talked about how like when he was roving around on duty, like a drunk Marine tried to salute him in his boxers, like while he was inside, or, you know, you have to yell at like a junior guy because he lost rounds or something. But like when you were in a leadership role, did you have any of like those weird, you know, stories from your junior guys or the guys that served under you that just make you think like what am I doing here? Like I don't get paid enough to do this.
Yeah, I had a few, I guess, but the funny thing is, like, I remember doing that myself, right? So, you know, guys would turn up to work like still drunk, right? Like you could smell the alcohol in them, and they gave you all the excuse under the sun, and you kind of have to discipline them, right? It's like, hey, you can't turn up to work drunk because, you know, we've got to shoot weapons and it's bad. But on the inside, you're laughing, right? You're like, fuck, dude, I used to do exactly the same thing. I know how you feel, right? And so I'd be like, okay, well, guess what? We're going for a run. You know, we're going for a 5-kilometer run and a pack march. So you intentionally put the hurt on them just to get them aware, but in a fun way, right? It's like, you're going to remember this, you know, in 10 years time, you're going to remember the day you rocked up to work drunk and you had to go for a pack march and were throwing up everywhere. So
no, yeah. Or when my E3 threw a rock at my porta john when I was taking a dump.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was like? How was Dubai like when you went there? Because I like, were you there on? I mean, you had to have been there on. I don't want to say business, but I mean, it's not exactly a war zone. So I imagine you were just doing regular work when you were there.
Yeah. So Dubai was interesting. It was kind of like a staging base for us. So we were based there, and you know, it's not really a deployment, right? It's not a war zone. You had shopping centers, you had Burj Khalifa and all these towers and like a water park. So it's kind of cool. So we went to Dubai, and in an aircraft security role, we would fly into country from Dubai. So we would, you know, say, hey, we're going to go to Afghanistan for 5 to 6 days. And then we would fly from Dubai in a country, do our operations and come back. So it's a bit of some people called it the cupcake camp, right? Like a little bit of a holiday camp while you're doing operations in country.
Yeah, which I would expect. I mean, like it is I mean, I don't know what year you went, but I went in 2020. Yeah, right before COVID, and it's just like, I mean, those like, it's not Saudi, but you know, it gives that Saudi oil money impression where they're just, I mean, throwing everything in the kitchen sink to make it look rich and beautiful. I assume, was it something like that when you were there?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just weird, right? There's all this sand, so it looks like a desert, and then you've got this like massive shiny building and like sand islands that were built by man and all this like fancy stuff. You go, how? It's like they got too much money, right? And they just want to spend it on stupid shit, make everything shiny. Like there was a shopping center that had a giant aquarium, right, in the mall. And then just down from that was like an indoor ski lodge. So they had like snow inside the shopping center. You could go and go skiing while you were shopping. Like, who has this much money to just do that shit, right?
Yeah, like this is something out of like either a video game or like it's hard. I see what you're saying. Like it's just like like this wasn't comprehensive. Like if you put like no billionaire 100 years ago would have been able to comprehend the stuff that like we can just do as just a normal person. Like this is like it's insane almost.
Yeah, and it just I thought, where did they come up with these ideas, right? Like, oh, we've got all this money. Maybe we'll, I don't know, cure poverty. We'll set up some shelters for the homeless. No, let's put a fucking a ski center in a shopping center, right? Great idea. Like,
let's build a coral reef inside of a shopping center with like a Nike and a Joe's Crab Shack and like a McDonald's.
yeah, fuck the homeless. Fuck, they could sleep out in the streets. We want an aquarium. So yeah, interesting place.
Oh man, that is when I have two quite now that I think about it. So in the United States, right? Like particularly with the Marines, we had so like each branch will have its usually like a base or a couple bases that those branches have where like almost everybody is stationed. So like with the Marines, we were all put in North Carolina or in California usually because we had a couple bases on our coastline. But like in Australia, was it is there? I would assume maybe it's branch specific, like with either your job or just with the Air Force. But is there like one place that you were usually put in when you were in Australia, or is like I guess like what was the layout for when you were back home in Australia? Was there just a couple places that you guys were you almost scattered all over the place?
We were kind of scattered. So in Australia, they have what's called a posting cycle. I'm not sure if you guys had that, but every kind of 3 years they would post you to a different location. And this is to get different experience, in, I guess, units, different job roles, different responsibilities. So they kind of pick you up every 3 years and move you somewhere in the country, which was like a bit of a pain. You just settle into somewhere, you made some friends, you may have met a partner, then you got to pack up stuff and move, right? So they would move you from like Richmond to Newcastle to Queensland to South Australia, kind of all over Australia. Yeah.
And I forget that Australia, like it's huge. I mean, I imagine I don't know what it compares to the United States, but I mean, it's like, going coast to coast. It sounds like obviously like you're going to, well, you guys are a whole continent. So it's like, you are going pretty far every way you go.
Yeah. It's just so different. Australia's really spread out. It's actually not huge as a country itself, but it's quite spread out. So yeah, when you do move, they're kind of spread locations.
Do you guys have a place that's so like for example, for like in California, we have Camp Pendleton and like 29 Palms, and it's in Southern California, so it's like pretty. You got the beaches, you got like the mountains right nearby. It's like the prime real estate to be in. But then we have like North Carolina, and it's a joke because it's like in hick country. It's in a swamp. It's just kind of like white trashy, more kind of like bushwhacker place a little bit, like to use some Aussie lingo. Do you have any, like, were you ever put in any place similar to that where it's almost kind of destitute? Like when you're not when you're deployed, but like when you're just in country, it's almost like worse than being in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yeah, man, there was some postings or bases that no one wanted to go to, right? And you could kind of put in a preference, like, hey, I want to go here. So everyone would put in the preferences for the good locations. But there was some, like Catherine, for example, right, middle of Northern Territory. There's just fucking nothing there. It's like a prison sentence, right? So you go to somewhere like that, or I think I went to Richmond, like Western Sydney, out in the sort of Hicks Phil, and it's full of crime and there's nothing out there. So yeah, some of those postings really suck. You're like, far out. I got 3 years here and guys just end up drinking. Like, fuck this. I'm so depressed in this location. They just end up hitting the piss for 3 years and then, hoping that their next posting is going to be better.
Yeah. I love how history rhymes, because isn't it funny how I'm hearing an Australian talk about being sent someplace far away and how it's a prison sentence, how it feels like being sent away. That's your guys' penal colony to the penal colony.
Yeah, pretty much. And I thought, who makes these bases in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? Like, put them near
Yeah.
somewhere nice and shopping centers and beaches. No, let's find the most desolate, rundown towns and put a fucking base there. What a great idea. So,
There's what was I gonna say? Do you guys have people that are like because I don't know how the Aborigines are, but I've heard some things. But do you guys have people that are known for being like what would be the word? Like I don't want to say uncivilized, but like very like wily people. I mean, I guess maybe it depends on like where you're going, perhaps. But like in a place like what I forget something Catherine, like whatever
Catherine.
yeah, like was it like that? Like where you're encountering a lot of strangers, I suppose.
yeah, absolutely. Some of those towns, you can't walk the streets of a certain time of night, or there's certain bars and clubs that you can go to, and others you can't. So, yeah, it was always interesting encountering, the local populations. And in some towns, right, there were people that hated the military. So, if you went out and you stand out, right, everyone can see your haircut and you're walking in step and you're rigid. So there were some towns that just hated, I don't know, for whatever reason, someone slept with their wife, or I don't know, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
But there was this culture of we hate the military guys. So yeah, you did experience that in different places.
Yeah. Was I keep blanking on questions. I am horrible right now today. That's not good on me. But what was I gonna say with it? Oh yeah. So our Air Force, like in the United States, right? It's nicknamed the Chair Force. It's known for being like the lazy, in the office, like out of shape and fat kind of branch of the service. But obviously, like it sounds like you're not that type of person given the role in the MOS that you had. But how did the branch rivalries like in Australia work? Because like for us, we have our own sibling rivalries and our stereotypes about how our branches compare to each other. But do you guys even have that in Australia? Or if you do, I mean, what is it like?
Yeah, we do. There was that kind of in-branch rivalry, right? And the Air Force was always supposed to be like the premium, right? Like, they said the Air Force got all the 5-star hotels and ate caviar and crackers. Maybe the officers did, but as a troop, right, we didn't get any of that stuff. So we slept in the mud, in my role anyway. But it was, and then, the Navy, well, everyone just thought they were gay. There was something about being in the Navy and, those guys are just homos. They weren't there. So
well, village people did a great job of being their representatives for a long time. I don't know if you the band.
Yeah. And they had some weird traditions, right? If they crossed the equator, I don't know, something about putting a piece of meat up or a steak up someone's butt crack, and whatever they had, it was just didn't help their repertoire. Right?
Definitely doesn't, but I would love to hear more.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I was like, fuck that shit. I don't want to hear anymore. And then the Army, they were just grumpy at everyone, right? Because they got all the shitty meals and had to sleep in the dirt. So they were just hating on life and hating on everyone else that got something more than they did. So yeah, it was funny, but it's fun, right? It's a fun rivalry. It's not like we're going to bash each other. You kind of, we'd say, take the piss, have a bit of fun. And then at the end of the day, you were still friends. Yeah.
So you went to Iraq, you went to Dubai, and then you said it was maybe Kuwait and then Afghanistan. Do I have that right?
Yeah. Afghanistan. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How did Afghanistan compare to Iraq when you were there?
It's kind of much the same, really, but a lot busier. When we got to Afghanistan, there were just countries and different uniforms everywhere. It was just, especially you go to like Kandahar airfield, and it's just nuts. It's like this traffic center of different planes and jets and countries coming in and out. It was a real busy place when I went there.
Yeah. I've heard. I want to say the I can't remember if it was a book or if I talked with someone about this, but I think there was a big there was like a massive international bit, but it was like it was almost like all the NATO countries were basically there. It's like Norway, Canada, obviously us, and it was just like literal like a base where you had actual like super centers and stuff. It almost seemed like a real town, just plotted in Afghanistan.
Yeah, pretty much. It and then you go on some of the bases there, and they had like KFC and fucking Hungry Jacks and like Domino's. He said, "What the hell?" It was weird. It was like this cities, and it's like the Kandahar base was huge, right? It was like a full town, a full city in the middle of Afghanistan. Yeah, it was a weird place.
Do you guys have a lot of the? I mean, I imagine you have to have some of them, but those like American food, fast food chains. Do you have? I assume you have like the KFC, the whatever the other one was. Like, do you have those in Australia?
Yeah, we got KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, Hungry Jack's, Red Rooster, Domino's, Pizza Hut. I think we got Taco Bell's now too. Yeah.
Jeez, do you guys have any of them of your own? It sounds like we've taken over.
I don't think we do. No, the local fish and chip shops and the hamburger places have been taken over. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the corporatism has taken over. This is bad. I thought it was just horrible here. We can't ruin Australia. Where am I going to vacation? I can't go to Australia and feel like I'm home. I don't want to do that.
No, you can't. Yeah, you'll get all the fast food takeaways. They're everywhere. It's so hard to avoid them, right? Get down the street, there's Macca's, KFC. Like, good luck trying to find anything healthy to eat on the run. Not here.
I mean, to be fair though, I mean, the United States is very, very liberal when it comes to its chemicals and like all the garbage that we allow in our food. I don't know how it is in Australia, but I imagine at least it's a little bit better. I mean, I'm not going to be, even if I'm in Australia, I'm not going to be eating KFC every day because it's like the nutritional equivalent of smoking crack, but it's, probably won't kill me as fast as if I did it here in like Texas or something.
No. One thing we don't have yet is liquid cheese. And when I went to the American messes, DFATs or whatever they call them in Afghanistan, I don't know, the American ones, they had fucking liquid cheese on everything, right? You go there for breakfast and they were cooking burgers and they had these big pump bottles, right? And I just seen I don't know, these Americans, they're just pumping liquid cheese on everything. That's fucking gross, man. Is that a thing there? You guys love your liquid cheese or something?
I mean, there's almost nothing we won't eat or put in like a frying vat. I don't even know the name of that, but it's liquid. Wait a minute. You think liquid cheese is like, I mean, I guess it's disgusting. I mean, I'm an American. I'm not the one to, judge food standards, but you guys don't have liquid cheese? Like, you don't put it on like nachos or anything like that?
No, man, no. We have like slices of cheese. It's not a big thing here, but it was so prominent when I went to the American messes and everyone's just pumping this, they look like 5-liter bottles of 2-gallon bottles of liquid cheese. I was like, holy dooly, like that's a heart attack in a fucking bottle.
Yes, that is our specialty. You would be amazed. You don't need to go to any assisted suicide company. You don't need to take weird drugs. Like, you'd be amazed at how much you can kill yourself for like $12.99 if you go to the right restaurants. What was I? Oh, have you heard of? Do they have Costco or anything like that, like a Sam's Club in Australia?
Yeah. We got Costco now. Yeah.
Oh, you say you have it now, so this is like new for you guys.
I think it's new. Yeah. I don't go there, but everyone says, oh, you can buy everything in bulk. It's like bulk packets of stuff, and
yes,
I was like, fuck, that's the last thing we need, right? To make fat people more fat because they can buy food in bulk at cheaper prices. Like, yeah.
I just have to add it for the sake of it, but it's I was listening to a comedian talk about this, but it's like, I hope similar to like how you see how like towns used to have tons of bars, for example, and now, or like malls, and now they're kind of a thing of the past. It's like, I hope that things like Costco's, where you can just buy like an industrial sized bag of like chocolate covered pretzels for you and your family. It's like, I hope that becomes a museum, because we're not going to look back on this and think like this wasn't a good innovation for humanity. When you look, like, we could cure polio, we invented the printing press, we colonized Mars, but like buying like an industrial tanker sized vase of just mayonnaise,
liquid cheese, yeah,
yes,
groundbreaking stuff.
It's I mean, we're Europeans, it's like, but I would think like the British did a good job of like bringing the Australians to light and like creating your country. But it's like, now that the United States is colonizing everything, this is what we bring. We don't bring an enlightenment. We don't bring political thinkers, religion. No, we bring 10-gallon barbecue sauce.
hey, people keep coming back for more, right? It's a thing. It's like, fuck, give me some more of that liquid cheese and mayo and bulk chips. Yeah.
Oh God.
Have you ever
I
seen
got-
one of these?
See, what is I mean, it's a clock, but what is it like?
This, I got a
thinking of
funny
press-
story. Do you want to talk about this funny story? This goes back to Dubai, right? We're talking about
Okay.
shopping and buying things. So when when I was in Dubai, right, we worked on shifts, okay, and this story is called Mano's alarm clock, right? Mano's alarm clock. So in Dubai, we did shift work, right? And you were in the room with someone that had the opposite shift to you, right? So you would wake up, do night shift, go to bed. They would wake up, do day shift.
Yeah.
And I had this guy, right? His last name was Mano. I think Mano means hands in Spanish or something.
Yeah.
Mano. So Mano was my roommate, right? And we worked different shifts. So he would wake up and he was just noisy as fuck, right? Like I'm trying to sleep. Dude gets up for his shift, turns the light on, starts smacking things around the room, like wakes me up every single time, right?
Yeah.
So Mano was a real jerk.
Mhm.
And I thought, fuck you, Mano. Like, I'm going to get you back, right? Every time you wake me up, I'm going to get you back. So in Dubai, they had these fucking alarm clocks, right? Now, these things are worse than bombs. They're the most annoying. You know what? I'll play it. Check out this. So this is their alarm clock, right? It
Yeah.
plays the call to prayer. So watch this. It doesn't stop. So you've got to get up and hit the clock, right, for it to stop.
Uh-huh.
So it was the most annoying thing ever. And I went out and I bought 10 of them, right? And I thought, I walked to it, I was like, you're gonna wake up, Mano, to a new experience, right? This is payback for every time you woke me up. So I got 10 of them, right? And I hid them in my dorm, right? Just before Mano was finishing his shift. So I put one in the fridge, I put one in the curtains, like I wrapped it up so you never find it, right?
Yes.
I put one in the roof, in like the manhole. I put one under his bed, and I set them all 5 minutes apart, right? So the first one would go off. It's like something out of Saw, right? This series of
Yes.
traps, and then but the thing is, he had to find it to turn it off, right?
Yeah.
So I set these off and I put them all 5 minutes apart, and he'd come back, but I had to go to work, right? So I put them in the room, and I told the guy next door, I said, look, Mano is going to come in and these clocks are going to go off. I just want you to hear what happens and tell me what happens, right? So Mano comes in, he goes to bed. I go to work, my shift. And what happened, right? So I got it firsthand from the witness who was listening. They said, Mano went to sleep, right? 5 minutes later, you can hear the call to prayer go off, right? So the first alarm clock goes. So it's going off. And Mano obviously found it, right? It went off about 5 minutes. He found it in the fridge, goes back to sleep. Starts going to sleep. 5 minutes later, the next one goes off, right? My mate's like, I heard Mano get up. He's pissed, right? He's starting to swear. I can hear cupboards opening, like doors slamming. He could not find this one because it was in the fucking roof, right? So there was no way he would have known it was there. So obviously he didn't find it, right? 5 minutes later, the next one goes off and it's hitting the curtain post. So now you've got a symphony of these fucking call to prayers going off.
Yes.
He's trying to sleep. He didn't find that when the third one goes off. And my mate said he just lost it. Mano he yelled out something like, fuck you, dogs, and just started ripping the room apart. It sounded like he was tearing down cupboards and pulling blinds. I come back later that afternoon. Mano wasn't there. He got no sleep. And he had completely just destroyed the room. Like he must have been so frustrated looking for these clocks.
Yeah.
And he just tore everything apart. It was probably one of the best pranks I've pulled. I got him back. He never, ever woke me up again after that.
It's pardon my French, but it's fucking genius. I mean, like you put it in the most obscure places, and he only makes it to 2, and by then they're all just going off.
It was like a cacophony of call to prayers, and he's trying to sleep. He's pissed off. He's ripping the room apart. And yeah, man, I wish I was there. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall. It'd be so funny.
Oh my God. I can't. I want to see what that room looked like, because like it sounds like just like a tornado just went through, just like shelves everywhere, curtains thrown off, just trying to find everything.
Yeah, Hurricane Mano just ripped it apart.
Yeah.
His frustration to find these alarm clocks, but it was perfect. It was perfect.
Did the alarm clocks, did their batteries just die, or did you walk in and you just hear all this
No, they'll smash.
Commands coming around?
When he found them, he jumped on them and smashed them like they were in little pieces. That's how angry he was. When he did find them, he just shattered them into pieces.
Oh God. Is that one you have? Is that one of the original ones?
This is one of the originals. Yeah, this is one that survived. The Mano didn't find, obviously. So I brought it back just for keepsake. But they're the most annoying alarm clocks you'll ever find in the world. Good way to wake up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Mano, if you are out there, I'm telling you, you have been, hopefully you learned your lesson. Get on the show. Maybe we can hear your side of the story.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, what was, can you remind me the context of the, I was thinking of this one, the prime minister story, because I have it right. That was the crux of it. You like fell asleep next to the prime minister was talking to you, but then you were dozing off. Yeah.
So part of my job as an aircraft security officer was to, do the security on flights. And these were flights that went from Dubai into Afghanistan and out. So sometimes, you would have just boring passengers, troops. And other times you'd have VIPs, right? Like prime ministers, probably the biggest VIP we would get. Now, as a security officer, you had to watch the plane, you had to stay awake, you had to observe everyone. And the trick was, right, because you're in helmet and you're in armor and you got those cool, tactical sunnies, ballistic sunglasses. No one could really tell whether you were awake or asleep. So there was one day I was just wrecked, man. I was tired, I had to do ASO, and it was the day that the fucking PM, right, the prime minister was flying in the country. I thought, oh, cool, he's not going to notice me. So I fell asleep, right? I'm sleeping, sitting upright, but because I had my glasses on and my helmet on, it looked like I was just, staunch and doing my job.
Yeah.
So I wake up and I must have fallen asleep for probably 5-10 minutes. And I've got the prime minister right in front of me talking, and he just said something, right? And I've just woken up, but he would have thought the whole time that I was conscious, right, and listening to him. And I have no fucking idea what he said. So suddenly you got the PM right in front of you. He'd obviously just asked something, and I had no idea what he'd said. So I just nodded, right? He probably thought I was really weird. He's come up and asked me some important or personal question, and I sort of nodded my head. He's like, "Oh," and then walked off. I was like, "Fuck." So that was interesting. Falling asleep on the prime minister's flight.
Who was the prime minister when when that happened?
I can't even remember. I think it was Tony Abbott or someone at the time. If I ever see him, I'll tell him this story. But yeah.
It was why does Tony Abbott I'm not too strung up in Australian. Is he famous for something? He's prime minister, but did he do something big or was famous for something? He sounds familiar for me. I don't know why.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think he was just the prime minister at some point. But yeah, that's kind of a big deal here in Australia. Yeah, you can put your name to fame if you're a prime minister.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. You don't strike me as somebody who's too like a nerd or too invested into big politics. So it doesn't surprise. I don't know. But excuse me. But was that Oh wait, you said that was from Dubai to Australia, right? I thought that was from one of your deployments that you talked about.
Oh no, it was. Yeah, it was from Dubai to Afghanistan. So he was flying into country at that time.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do because you said you got out back in 2019, which is yeah. I mean, it's been 7 years, so I mean, it's like kind of that in that period of where it's no longer a short time, I guess you'd say. But when you got out, I mean, how was that transition? Did you have like the typical thing that everyone has, where you know struggled finding purpose, friendship, and like was it just like a weird identity shift for you, or how was that period of your life? Or is it
Yeah,
still-
absolutely. Yeah, it was. It's always for me. It was a tough jump. You know, suddenly you had 14 years of basically people, you know, looking after you, booking your medical appointments. You know, you've got purpose, and then suddenly they're just like, oh well, off you go in the big wide world, and good luck. And you're like, fuck, who was I again? Right? Like, who was I before this? So you really have to. I had to, you know, discover my purpose again, discover who I was, or rebuild it. So it was a difficult space, that transition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What and did you because forgive me for forgetting the details, but you had a it was like an organization. I don't know if it was a company, but it was like an organization where you or maybe it was like a club or like fraternity where you get people together to go like kayaking or like going like out into wildlife per se. Was that one of the things that you did to like combat that, or you know channel that energy in, or
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
that,
Well,
is that unrelated? I could be off.
no, yeah, spot on. So I started a club or a community for kayak fishing called Yak Hunters Australia, Yak Hunters. So it was all about kayak fishing, right? And that sort of built community again. So suddenly I had, you know, friends and people I could hang out with, same interests, kind of like a club. So you start to really get that sense of community and purpose again. So that was good. Like that really helped me, gave me something to do, got me outdoors, you know, very, very good for mental health, being outdoors, being out in the water, fishing. So that was good.
Yeah. What do you look back on just like your time back in, and do you think I assume maybe you don't regret it, but it's like, do you look back thinking, you know, maybe I should have stayed in longer? Like, do you look back and think, you know, I would have changed anything about it?
No, I think I got out at the right time. Like, you know, for me, I don't know, there's only so much you can do, so much you can put your body through, put your mind through.
Yeah.
Like you really start to see the effects, you know, and probably that was the main reason why I got out, is I started to see the effects of service life, you know, the military life on your mental health, on your body. And you go, fuck, man, like, I don't know. I don't think it's a job you can do forever. For me, it wasn't anyway.
No, yeah. I mean, maybe you could if you're like in the officer world, or maybe like, I don't know. I mean, I guess with any passion, you have to be like in love with it to really just like not care about what it does to your body. But like, I always joke about it all the time, but like the military is a blue collar job at the end of the day, or like being a pro athlete. It's like you almost have a biological time clock for a job like that. And at some point your body's just going to start telling you like, hey man, like, what are we doing here? Like you need to start listening to me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that. And, you know, particularly like you said, if you are in a combat role, right, where you're wearing packs and you're shooting guns and there's, you know, explosions going off, like your body can't handle that for too long, right, without showing some sort of wear and tear.
Yeah, no, and it's because I mean the military treats us a lot like, and obviously, I mean you would know it more than I would, but you know it treats us like a pack mule, and I mean I get it. I mean there is a bigger objective and mission, but you know our bodies aren't designed to maintain that for long. And then when you look at a lot of the people like us that come in, you know we don't exactly have good sleep hygiene. You know we think we're invincible because we're in our late teens, early 20s, and you know, we're not exactly thinking about like when we train our bodies, a lot of us think, okay, what's going to pass the PT tests? How do we, you know, look jacked and look good? But I don't know how you felt about it, or maybe you did as you got a little older, but like, I never thought about longevity at all when I was like in the middle. It never occurred to me to think like, okay, like, should I be stretching more? How should I treat my nutrition? Like, what's going to keep my body running longer? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly didn't. And often by the time you realize you should have, it's too late. It's like, fuck, you know, I've got to get physiotherapy, but I've already busted my back or busted my knee. So we kind of wait till something happens, right, before we do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine you. I mean, maybe you probably feel it more than I do because you're just now getting into your 40s. But like, I'm almost in my 30s now, and so like, I still got some good time left. But like, I'm at that point where like I'm starting to have like some issues creep up, or like if I get up, I make a dad noise, and it's just like this is doesn't feel right.
No, I'd find that same. The dad noise is like the grunts and groans and like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. I sound like a wounded old whore sometimes the way I get out of bed.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of wounded animals, what was the story of Clarence? It was Clarence, right? That was his name.
Yeah, Clarence. Clarence was a special character. So when we were in country, I think it was Afghanistan, we had camel spiders, right? And everyone's heard about camel spiders. They weren't giant beasts like you hear, right? They were, I don't know, probably yay big. So me and a friend, we said, hey, let's go out and find a camel spider, right? Want to see one of these things. So we went out, we searched for them, and we found one, right? We lifted up this bit of tin in the desert, and there was this fucking camel spider. And I don't know if you ever seen the jaws of them. They're kind of like the predator, right? They got these four, I don't know, like jaws that mince things up. They're really scary looking.
Yeah.
So we took it and we got a little tank, like a little fish tank. We put it in the office. We put the camel spider in it and we called him Clarence, right? So we had our office mascot, Clarence, the camel spider. Had a cool ring to it, right?
Yeah. Was it just the ring, or was there like, did you name him after anyone?
No, we just thought, camel spider, see Clarence. Yeah. So he just became Clarence, the camel spider. Anyways, he got super aggressive, right? He was pissed off because we'd taken him from the wild and put him in this tank. So we just fed him, right? We fed him so much flies and termites he used to eat. Any insect we found, we threw it into Clarence's lair and he just destroyed it, right? Chomped it. So he got big. After about 4 months, he got huge, right? We had this fat camel spider. So Clarence just kept eating. We kept feeding him. And he just got big. So suddenly he had this overweight, like diabetes-ridden camel spider called Clarence. He probably would have started eating some of that liquid cheese if we pumped it in there.
Yeah, I was about to say you basically were feeding him like Costco.
Yeah. So we had this. It became a science project, right? We had Clarence, the fat camel spider, and we just kept feeding him. So one day, and we put insects in there, right? We found a scorpion. We threw the scorpion in there. Clarence killed the scorpion. We put a wasp in there. Clarence killed the wasp. Like, we started having these fight arenas, right? And he killed everything. He was undefeated. He was big. He was fat, undefeated.
Yeah.
Until one day we went to feed him 50 termites, right, at once. Whoa. So we found this termites nest. I'm like, let's put all these termites in, Clarence, and we'll eat them. So we did put him in. He starts eating all these termites, right, one by one. But because he's so slow, right, and he's so fat, all the termites kind of mob together and like, well, fuck you, Clarence, right? We're in numbers. So they swarmed poor Clarence, right? So he went from eating these termites, being the apex predator, to suddenly being the prey. The termites turned and they swarmed him, man. They started eating Clarence one bite by one bite. And he was defeated, man. Like, he was trying to get away. These termites are hanging onto him and they wore him down. And finally he died. So Clarence was defeated by an army of termites. Yeah. Man. It was a sad day.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I can even hear it in your voice. Like, to like the men like that were actually and I'm not even joking, like it actually sounds like it was like it lowered morale, like to hear the news that Clarence died. Like it's almost like, imagine going back to your racks after like a horrible firefight. You have to do the body count and you have to say, hey, we only have 20 left, not 22, because Thomas and George died, and you have buddies crying. Like, I can imagine, like, that's not as bad as like having to walk by the fish tank and say, oh, well, it was Clarence, not is Clarence, because he passed away.
Yeah, and I think what was worse is that we killed him, right? Like we were watching his death in real time. Like, holy shit, we just killed him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that was a sad day for everyone in the office. And you know, we probably should have had some fancy burial for Clarence.
Yeah.
But we just kind of, I don't know, threw him in the bin. No, we didn't. We come back, right? And the cleaner had come through the office. She threw him in the bin. So she'd just come through, dump Clarence's carcass in the trash, like
Ugh.
no farewell for a hero, no, you know, funeral. It was just
Yeah, no
in the
21 gun salute for Clarence. Nothing.
no 21 gun salute. We would have done that, right? But no, just in the bin. So yeah, we didn't get any more camel spiders after that. We were bad parents.
Yes. Now, looking back on your guys' decisions, would you have thought maybe we should have fed him, like knowing his ultimate demise? Would you say that maybe we should have fed him something different, fed him less termites in the battle? Like, would you have changed anything about that?
If I could give someone advice on feeding a camel spider, don't overfeed them. Probably stage the foods, like give them, I don't know, 2 termites at a time, not 50 at once. And just be, you know, better parents. They deserve better. Yeah.
Yes. Do you go on Instagram by chance, or do you have one, or like, do you see memes that roll around the internet?
Yeah. I've got Instagram. Yeah.
Have you seen it'll be like these memes, it'll be like 1 million or it'll be like 100 T-Rexes versus 1 million Hulk Hogans. And it's like all these like animated figures in a field and they just clash. And then they'll have another one where it's like 1 million SpongeBob SquarePants versus like 1 million Donald Trumps or something. And they just all square. I had that image in my head. Like, you actually simulated that in real life. And we saw at least you guys did, we saw the actual effect of it.
Yeah, pretty much. And I always remember the story. It was like, who would win, 50 midgets versus 1 tiger? And
Whoa.
yeah, I don't know who said that, but it stuck with me. I'm like, I don't know. Who would win?
I gotta be honest with that one. I don't even think that's a fair fight. I think the tiger, because like midgets aren't exactly like, so I'm gonna sound really weird right now. Do you know, like, I know a lot about the anatomy and like the fun facts of midget. Like, how much do you know about midgets?
Probably about this much.
That's a good amount to know. Well, you would know. I mean, like, if you've ever seen them or at least watched the TV shows, they waddle. And I don't think people who waddle are really going to be mobile enough to, like, do any harm. Like, you and me, right? Like, we have flexibility, we have mobility, we have strength, we can maneuver. We don't have, like, balance issues and, have, like if we tip over, we can get back up pretty easy, you would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, a lot of people don't know this. Midgets have the same amount of physical skin as a regular human does. In fact, that's why their stomachs bulge out and why some of their skin looks flabby. In fact, when midgets have to get baby shots as a child, sometimes they get it through the Achilles, like their heel. They'll get it through their foot because it's the thinnest part of their skin. You would need like a full army of midgets, I think, to take on 1 tiger. That's just my take. But 50 of them, if we're talking just by themselves, they have no weapons, I don't think they're taking on a tiger.
Yeah. I don't know. It always stuck with me when someone said that, and I was trying to picture the 50 midgets. And I didn't know anything about midgets, right? But
yeah,
I'm guessing the tiger would win. But it reminds me of Clarence, right? Like the termites got him. 50 termites versus 1 camel spider. But in saying that, he was fat, right? He couldn't walk fast. Yes. So that's probably why.
Yeah. That's a key detail. I mean, gigantism doesn't really work well for species. It's why the dinosaurs went extinct. And here you have Clarence who's about to get osteoporosis and all these other diseases.
Yeah, it was like a whale. It's like dumping a whale in the desert, right? And expecting it to move and do things. That was Clarence at his final stages. Yeah.
Was he like, when you say he was fat, like, because I'm trying to imagine like what a fat camel spider looks like. Was it just like 8 legs and just this big bulbous like body?
Yeah, he had like a bulb right at the abdomen, and every time we fed him, it grew. So he ended up having this like giant, looked like a golf ball on his ass. But then the rest of him was skinny, so he's trying to like trying to use these skinny legs to drag this fat golf ball ass around. He left trails. He'd leave trails in the sand every time his fat ass would drag through the sand in the tank. It was like these trails. Poor dude probably had a horrible life.
Could you imagine rolling up on that in the sand? Like you're patrolling for IEDs and you're like, what's this trail going all around here? And you just see this like lone camel spider like up on the hill. Like, no. It's like that. It's like that penguin documentary. It's like no one knows why the penguin. He goes off by himself. He follows his own trail.
Yeah, because I thought like he would grow bigger as a spider. No, just his abdomen did. So he just had this fat ass. Yeah, the rest stayed the same. Big ghetto booty, Clarence.
Why do I find this so funny?
Oh, rest in peace, Clarence.
Yes. R.I.P. with that dump truck of yours, Clarence.
Oh, love it.
I just picture the spider just like trying to. You ever? Do you know? In America, we have these shows called My 600-Pound Life.
He would have been a star candidate, man. Like he could have done a whole show on him.
Clarence is so big, he has to like literally he has to bob and weave his body to like get out of bed. He has to have another spider like lather him up to shower him because he can't reach into his legs.
If I had known then like that he would be so big, I would have taught him how to twerk. Could you imagine a camel spider twerking with this big fat ass?
I would have. I mean, you can probably make it happen with AI now, but like to actually see the
that'd be like a sellable act, right? See Clarence the camel spider twerk, his big fat ass just bouncing around.
Yeah.
Thing.
Now, being from Australia, would may God rest his soul, but do you think that Steve Irwin would have any grievances given the treatment of the spider, or what would be the verdict?
I think he would have been excited. Well, I was excited. Like we'd never seen a camel spider. We've got every sort of creature under the sun here in Australia, but when I was like, fuck, I haven't seen a camel spider, right? It was exciting. So I think Steve-O would have loved it. Yeah.
Oh, Steve. I'm Steve-O, and today we're gonna use Clarence to fight a bunch of termites.
I'm gonna stick my thumb right up in his
I'm Steve-O, and today we're gonna have Clarence bite my ass and see how long I go without getting a rash. I hope my impression's good, but that's totally something he would do. He had a I don't know if you saw one of the movies, but he had a snapping turtle, like an actual snapping turtle, like take like a bite into his ass, like one of his ass cheeks, which is insane.
Fucking crazy, huh? Yeah, the dude's nuts.
Oh, yeah. But that makes sense. I mean, because if you're in Afghanistan, yeah, the camel spiders are there. I mean, you have to have some type of like. Do you have any spiders that resemble anything like? You have to in Australia.
We've got funnel webs. We've got bird-eating spiders.
Bird-eating like
bird-eating. They call them bird-eating spiders. They got these massive fangs. I've never seen one eat a bird, but apparently they can. So, yeah. It does sound kind of scary when you think about it, right? Bird eating spiders.
Yeah, like I'm picturing like like those anacondas, like they'll eat like the alligator, and you just see like this just snake that like is about to pop almost. A bird eating spider. That thing's got to be. I don't know, but that's
well,
that's the hell out of me.
I think they get like that big, maybe up to 6 inches or something. Yeah, apparently they eat birds.
Do the emus still haunt you guys, or how are they holding up?
Emus are angry. Yeah, we don't see them where we are, but if you come across one out in the wild, yeah, they're pretty angry. They're just intimidating. Like they run at you and they're real fast too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just like aggressive. They're almost like I don't know what other animal but like they're very confrontational animals, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, those and the cassowaries, like they can kill you. Have you heard of the cassowaries?
Maybe I've seen it. I can't say I've heard of it though.
They're like this blue and black, like a mini emu, right? But they've got talons like a raptor. And I think they're somewhat related to raptors from the prehistoric era. So they've got this huge claw, like a raptor's claw.
Yeah.
And if you piss one off, it kind of jumps and stomps you, slashes your stomach, rips you open with this raptor claw and can kill you. So, yeah, cassowaries.
This isn't a jump. This isn't the jump bear trick that Tim
No.
tried pulling on me, right? Like this is an actual animal.
Yeah, it's an actual animal. Thing is, it looks like a real pretty bird. It's blue, it's black, it's got this sort of plume spike on its head, but it has a claw like a raptor that will rip you open. Yeah, cassowary.
Yeah, it sounds like a murderer in like peacock's. It sounds like because it sounds like a peacock almost, but it can just horribly maim you and rip your eyes out.
Yeah, and if you didn't know this, you would go up and try and pat it. You get a photo of it, but they're fucking savage. Yeah, they'll kill you. Cassowary.
Yeah, how do you guys just live on this continent that's just like the land that time forgot, and you have like normal societies? Like I don't understand.
I don't know. You kind of get used to it, right? Like I walk around barefoot everywhere. There's brown snakes, there's spiders.
I don't know if I would do that if I were you. From the things I hear,
if you stop and think about it, like I probably shouldn't do that. But I don't know. For Australians, we just get used to it. It's like, oh well, if they're out there, I get bitten. I get bitten. Although we don't do silly things, like we're not going to jump in rivers with crocodiles and go fight cassowaries and stuff. There's things we won't do.
Not gonna build a Costco and buy 10-gallon liquid cheese.
As long as you can outrun the animals, you're safe. That's why you don't go to Costco.
Yeah, being an American, I don't know if I should be the person to criticize. And I'm from Florida too, which is basically like your guys' spiritual animal or spiritual cousin in a sense. Like I don't know if I should be criticizing you guys for living in a, like this wildlife, like this chaotic wildlife, land. Well, I guess we can get into. I should probably pull it up, but the band photo. That's the only other story I can think of for now.
Oh yeah, the band photo, rock band. So this was on my first day in Iraq, right? So we had just done our first run on Route Irish. So here I am, just come out of scanning groceries from Coles, right? Joined the service, and suddenly I'm scanning for enemy and bridges and IEDs on Route Irish. So we're driving down this dangerous road in Iraq, and like adrenaline's through the roof, right? Excitement's up. Like, is it bad guys? Am I going to get shot at? So like, there's so much excitement, and I drive down this route, and we get out, right? We get out at the airport. We're in our armor. We've got our guns, and there's this room, and like, oh, you guys just go wait in the room. So we go into the room. And I'm looking at the boys. I'm like, is that fucking rock band? Like a set of drums and a guitar. I was like, who has rock band in Iraq? Like, it's just so surreal for me. We've just come off this dangerous road, with guns and ammo, and suddenly I'm in a room and there's rock band, and they're like, yeah, you guys can play, right? So we're like, fuck yeah. So we just put down our guns, and suddenly we're playing rock band, right? Jamming out to PlayStation 2 rock band in our armor and helmets. And it just clicked. I was like, fuck, this is a weird place, right? In 1 minute, you're on this dangerous road full of adrenaline and excitement. The next minute, you're jamming out to fucking rock band with your friends. It was like, this is a weird place. This is a weird place. I don't know what to expect next. So yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, it was cool.
Wait, so what was the building that you guys found the stuff in? Like, where was it again?
It was at the BIAP, so the international airport. But there was a place where, we would park up the vehicles and the troops would kind of wait. So someone, I guess, had thought of the troops and said, oh, well, these guys are going to be waiting around. Let's put rock band and a TV and a PlayStation 2 in the room. So it was kind of cool. Yeah. They thought of us.
Yeah, and being because you said that you just joined, so like you guys were like lower enlisted, so this must have been like a good, not a safe haven, but just like the first, like one of the first fun experiences that you get just being in the Australian Air Force, just being like in the grand scheme of the military, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, because we didn't know what to expect. We'd always been fed shit sandwiches, and here we are in a war zone, and suddenly we get to play rock band, right? It just come out of the blue. It was like, cool. This is a unique place. Yeah, it was good.
Being a rock band in Iraq, what was the band name? The Towelheads, or what was the Haji Bobbies, or the Mono's clocks, the prayer,
I don't know, the exploding profits. I don't know.
exploding profits.
I had a friend, he had a business there actually in Iraq, and
Okay.
he sold exploding prayer mats. And he said to me, Luke, business is going really well. The profits are going through the roof. Get it?
Oh, I wish I were that good at making puns, but Jesus, I can't end off better on that.
Oh, I love it.
Going through the roof, Jesus Christ, Luke.
The profits are going through the roof.
Well, I will say this. This is one of the better episodes that I've done. I usually don't get a lot of guests that are like, I think you picked up on the assignment pretty quick of just like sharing all like the dumb shenanigans and everything that we had, which is always nice. I will say, I don't know how many Aussies will be watching this one because most of my audience is American, but I usually leave off with, for any service member that's listening, what advice or any words would you like to leave them? So, whatever Americans, whatever Aussies, internet, whoever may be watching that's in a military service, what would you, as Luke Lispet, what would you leave them?
I guess I'd leave them something that I would tell myself, right? And probably more in the space of getting out of service, that transition part where life's difficult, you're struggling to fit back in, and, you maybe go through some sort of trauma or reconnection or identity issues. Remember the fun times you had in service, right? And I guess that's why these stories are so prominent for me now, is because they were fun. There's some shit parts of service life. There's some times where things didn't go well, but there's also good times you had with your mates, times you had a laugh and things you learned. Look at the fun side of it. Get out there, build more fun, right? Go create new stories. Don't just stop and sit in this pit of misery, when life sucks. Get out there and have fun, build new adventures, build new stories. And that's all I would say is that, life goes on, go find the fun in it, and go create new adventures.
I will not add to that because I would completely butcher it. I love that ending. Very, very well put. Do anything that you want to plug or promote, like any advocacy groups, anything like your businesses, anything that you want people to know? If people can follow you, or if you want people to find you online, do you want to leave that out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Instagram if you want to follow me there. I think my Insta is Lippy, Lippy _77. You can follow some adventures on there. My company's called Key Tech Intelligence. So in the advocacy space, we build things, software and platforms for veterans to assist them with their claims, rehabilitation services. So if you're an advocacy provider or you're someone that, wants to get in touch with us to build you something cool, check out keytechintelligence.ai. Otherwise, that's it from me.
Beautiful. Well, hey, from the land of the free, home of the brave, to the land down under, Luke, I thank you genuinely. I thank you for wanting to come on the show. I know we had a little bit of hiccups trying to get things going, but hey, I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Cody. I appreciate being here, man. Appreciate you for doing what you're doing. I think this is a fantastic thing you're doing for veterans out there in the community. So big thanks to you, my man, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And hey, any Aussies out there, I am trying to expand into the market out there. I need a reason to go out there, and hey, the more attention helps the show. So please follow, like, share the episode. Go check out everything that Luke brought up. And hey, if you're an Aussie out there, another veteran, or if you're active duty military and you want to be on, DM me, reach out. Luke, thank you. We're out of here.
Thanks, Cody. Catch ya.